Good morning from Marsh Harbor. Last Friday, we saw that there was a storm coming. We were at Hopetown, and it was another front, but it was supposed to clock. And we were going to just continue further south, going down to the very far southern Abacos. But a sailor asked us, he thought it'd be better to go back to Hopetown, to Marsh Harbor, with the idea that it would clock 360 degrees and we would be okay. So we went back on last Sunday, and we thought the front would last a couple of days and we'd be get going. That's what the weather said. It lasted 7 days. We did 2 full circuits, clocking 2 full times. We had 5 days of 30 to 35 knot breezes, some higher, almost 40, and 1 full night of up to 45 knots. That was a lot of fun. It's now over, so we'll go grocery shopping today and go get a part fix. It actually, there was a handhold getting out of the water that we were tying the boat to. As it turns out, only one of the screws had a nut on it, and so it ripped that handhold out of the fiberglass. So now we got to get that fixed. We'll go grocery shopping and buy a new snubber line, because it ate through half of the snubber line in 7 days of constant back and forth. But we're pretty much done. This is what we did. We started a week ago. Sadly, I didn't have the chart plotter on for most of the time. We went back and forth, but we've done 2 full circuits. And although the charts say the shallowest it got was 6 feet, the reality is for 2 full turns, we were in 4.5 to 5.5 feet of water, dragging our keel and rudder through the sand. The charts weren't right. And we're in the middle of what they called the good area of anchoring, but it wasn't so great. But we're done. It's now blowing 8 knots, and the weather should be great. Today is Monday, and tomorrow we will head out and head south. We need to be back around the 28th or so to check in. Cynthia's got to extend her travel visa. They only gave her 30 days, but they gave me 90. Anyway, we survived. It was fun. Oh, there was a $1 million catamaran that dragged yesterday about 200 yards. I can't figure out why nobody came to the deck and tried to save the boat, but it clearly ripped off both of its rudders because it could not steer itself, and they had one boat pulling it and one boat pushing it, and they took it back to the marina. And I think it was taking on water because the stern was sinking and the bow was starting to stick out, but of course I'm sure they got that stabilized. And there was another boat with 3 anchors that came within about 10 feet of hitting our boat. And Cynthia's not quite up to speed yet on driving the boat, so I tried to get the anchor up before it got too close in 30 plus knots of breeze, but all I did was have the anchor chain jump the spindle multiple times, which made a terrible noise. I'm sure it wasn't good for anything, and stall the motor. It was just too strong. We couldn't get it up, and by the time we realized that it was too late, we called someone to help us. But now my anchor was under the boat that was dragging, but some people came out, and over the course of the next 2 or 3 hours, they moved the boat with 3 anchors about 50 yards from us, and crisis is averted. But when we anchored where we anchored, because we thought the wind was going to come from this direction, and we wanted to be in the front row because we knew we weren't going to drag, and we didn't know what anybody else was going to do. But it fully clocked. And yesterday, it was coming from this direction. And so all these boats over here had the opportunity to drag, and they would drag into us. And sure enough, one of them almost did. I guess we were about 10 feet from dragging, and my thought was just start the motor and turn the boat to starboard and try to stay out of its way, and hopefully it would have passed us. But it worked out. But anyway, we'll go grocery shopping, get a new snubber, drop off the handhold to get fixed, and we'll come back and put all that on the boat.